Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to explain the Ansible tools that we use in DevOps. Let's move to the agenda and see what are the topics I will be covering in this video. So what is Ansible, why we need Ansible and advantages? Passwordless authentication, Ansible inventory, Ansible playbook, advoc commands, basics of YAML, Ansible roles, Ansible collections, walls, variable loops, conditionals. At the last, I'll also show how to handle the errors in Ansible. And I'll show one project also how to create by using playbooks and all. So before moving to the Ansible, let's understand few things about what happened before Ansible user. Over the past decade, the role of the system administration has significantly evolved. Previously, companies relied on the system administrator to manage their on premise setups, which often includes a mix of physical servers and virtual machines. For example, a small company like XYZ.com might have a system administrator overseeing five physical servers for running Linux and one running on Windows. A primary responsibilities of the system administrator were configuration management, ensuring that the Linux distribution such as CentOS was installed and up to date. It will check for everything for the updates. However, without regular updates, outdated system can become a liability, leading to security vulnerabilities and application dependency issues. As developer increasingly relies on specific software version, the burden on the system administration grew. They often resort to writing shell script to automate tasks, but these scripts typically lack cross-platform compatibility, particularly for Windows machine, complicating their work further. To address these challenges, configuration management tools such as Puppet, Chef, Salt, and Ansible were developed. These tools streamline and automate the management of system configurations across diverse environments, reducing the manual workload and minimizing errors. Among them, Ansible stands out for its simplicity, agent-led architecture, and ability to manage configuration in a straightforward and efficient manner, making it a preferred choice for modern system administration. This is all about the Ansible history. Let's go and see what is Ansible and why we need Ansible. So, Ansible is mainly a open source automation tool designed for managing and configuration computer systems and applications. Ansible started its journey as a configuration management tool. Now it's a very popular automation platform. And in Ansible, the configuration management is one of the tasks, and it also provide a provisioning creating on infrastructure for platforms. Ansible is widely used for deployment, that is CI/CD pipelines. It also worked on network automations. It uses a simple language like YAML to describe automation tasks, making it easy to read and write. So why Ansible? So, Ansible automates repetitive tasks, reduce the risk of human errors, and save the times. You can manage thousands of servers from a single control node, making it suitable for large environment. So, it supports a wide range of operating systems and cloud platforms, providing flexibility in deployment. And it's also integrated with many other tools and technologies, making it a powerful part of the DevOps toolchain. Overall, it's a powerful tool for system administrator and DevOps team looking to automate their workflow and improve the efficiency. What are the advantages of Ansible? It is easy to set up and use, does not require a special coding skills. Ansible does not require installing additional software or firewall ports on the system you want to automate, and you can manage a wide range of systems and platforms including Windows, Linux, cloud services and containers. Also provide a centralized control system that allow you to automate tasks across multiple devices and servers. So before moving to the next topic, so let's go and create two server in a AWS account. I'll tell why that is important. So go to EC2, instance, launch instance. So I want two servers. So give the name as manage node 1, and I'm using Ubuntu because Ubuntu is familiar to everyone. So if you want Amazon Linux, go and also choose Amazon Linux. I'm familiar with the Ubuntu server, so I'm selecting the Ubuntu. So the next thing is T3 Micro. It's a free trial eligible. You can keep it as same. So the next is key pair. If you have an key pair, you can select an existing key pair, or else you also create a new key pair here. So the next thing is so allow this one, create security groups or launch the instance. I tell why I keep the instance name as EC2. Sorry, manage node. I'll explain those things. So next thing is control node. The control node is a machine where Ansible is installed and from which you are executes command and playbooks. It manages the communication with the manage nodes. The control node is nothing but your systems or a laptop. And what are the responsibilities of this? It executes playbook, which are YAML files containing a series of tasks. Use the Ansible inventory to keep track of the manage nodes. Handle SSH keys and configuration to connect to manage nodes securely. So the next thing is manage node. What is manage node? Manage nodes are the machines. That means servers or instance. Just we have created the servers in the AWS account. That Ansible configures and manage. They can be running various operating system. What are the responsibilities of this? Perform tasks specified in the Ansible playbooks. In control node, we specified Ansible playbooks. That will performed on manage node. Communicate back to the control node with the results of the execution task. So how it works? It needs a inventory file, playbooks and executions. Don't worry about these words. I'll explain in the next coming topics. So what is inventory? You define your manage nodes in an inventory file, usually host files, that's listens their IP addresses or host names. Playbooks. You create a playbook to define what action to be performed on the managed nodes, including tasks like installing softwares, updating configurations, or deploying applications. Executions. You run the playbook from the control node, use the Ansible book command, which they connects to each managed node via SSH and executes the task defined in the playbook. So let's go to the VS Code. We should download some requirements for the configuration. Moving to the next topic, that is passwordless authentication, we need to install some basic requirements. So let's go and install there. So if you want a particular folder, you can create. I have created Ansible creation folder. Let's open the new terminal. Let's take the WSS access. Sudo apt update. It will check for the update one. So Ansible needs a Python installation. Let's install that also. Sudo apt install Python 3. The next thing is Ansible, sudo apt install Ansible, and go to the extension. You check for the uh, you need to install YAML extension. Yeah, I have already installed this, and you also need to install the Ansible extension. I've also um, installed this also. So let's go and check what is passwordless authentication. Passwordless authentication in Ansible allow you to connect to the remote servers without needing to enter a password every time. Without the password, the passwordless authentication is connected to your remote server, that is a managed node. This is achieved primarily through SSH key based authentication, which enhance securities and simplify the automation process. So this is the command to configure the passwordless authentication using SSH key, accessing the servers with the PEM key. Sudo ssh-o identity file and the mntc user x downloads gts.pem is the um, path for your key pair, and the ubuntu at the rate you need to specify the IP address. So this means the sudo. This command run the following command with the super user privileges. It's typically used when you need to evaluate permission to execute a command. SSH. This is the command used to initiate an SSH connection. SSH is a protocol for securely accessing remote machine over a network. -o identity file and the path of your key pair. These options specify the identity file, that's private key, to be used for the authentication. In this case, the path uh, to private key file that allow you to authenticate with the server. This is necessary when the server requires key based authentication instead of password authentication. Ubuntu at the rate IP address. These parts specify the user and the host you are trying to connect. So let's go and run this command in a VS Code. Let's see what happens. Ubuntu at the rate. So here you have to specify the IP address. So copy the IP address, paste here, hit enter. Yes. So with the PEM key, it has been connected to the remote server. Now we need to connect the remote server without the PEM key. For that, write the command eval. So the command is used to start the SSH agent, a background program that manages your SSH keys and helps facilitate secure connection without repeatedly entering your password. So guys, this is the optional case, because without these commands my systems won't work. So that's why I'm using this command. Uh, while you are practicing, make sure without this command will work or not. The next thing is SSH add. So this command, the SSH add, this command adds SSH key to the SSH agent, allow you to use the keys for authentication without having to enter your password each time. And the tilde slash dot SSH GTS PEM key, this specifies private key file you want to add. Tilde represents your home directory. So tilde dot ssh gts pem means that gts pem file is located in a dot ssh folder, which is use your home directory. So the next thing is ssh ubuntu at the rate the IP address. Yes, now without the PEM key also it will connect it to the server. This is how the things have worked. So while you're practicing, don't do the step 2 and the step 3 directly. You can do the step 1 and step 4. If in case in your system also it's not going to work, please follow the procedure whatever I did. So this is how the things will work. So let's go and check what is the next topic. So the next thing is Ansible inventory. Ansible inventory is a configuration file that defines the host or a groups of the hosts that Ansible will manage. Inventory is a heart of our Ansible because it will tell the Ansible control node to which server it has to talk. That is what your manage node. It provides essential information about each host, such as its host name, IP addresses, any additional variables or tags that can be used to filter or group host. The .ini is the extension for inventory file. So we need to create a inventory file with the VI editor inventory.in. So we need to specify the command. The next thing is command is used to run the inventory.ini file. We need to ping all the servers. So and the below commands are used to update the JDK and the manage node from the central node. I will explain this commands while configuration. Let's go and configure the things. Let's create a inventory file. So here we need to give insert the IP addresses of the managed nodes. So at the rate, copy the IP address, paste it over here. At the rate, so here, so the inventory file has been created. So the next thing is Ansible -i inventory.ini -m ping all. So the Ansible is the command line tool used to manage and automate server tasks. -i inventory.ini, these specify the inventory file that contains the list of servers you want to connect to. Your inventory.ini is located in the current working directory. -m ping, these options use the ping module to check if the servers are reachable. It's a simple way to see if the servers responding to the Ansible or not. All these indicates that the command should be run on the servers listed in the inventory file. So let's check whether it's pinging or not. Yes, it is pinging. So let's update the things in the manage node. So I'm writing the command on the control node. So it will work on the manage node. The next thing is Ansible -i inventory.ini -m shell -a sudo apt update all. So the -m. These options tell Ansible to use the shell module which allow you to run shell command on the remote server. -a sudo apt update. The option A -a option specify the actual command to run. In this case, it's run sudo apt get updates, which updates the package list on the servers to ensure you have the latest information about the available packages and their version. All this indicates the command should be executed on all the servers listed in the inventory file. Let's enter this. So this will check and update the package for the remote server. Let's wait. So the update has been done. So the next thing is what we need to do is sudo apt install openjdk -11 -jdk space -y. So this command, when you run this command, Ansible will connected all the server in your inventory.file and execute the command to install openjdk 11 on each of them. This is a convenient way to ensure that the multiple servers have the necessary Java deployment environment set up the things. So let's wait. It will download the things. So as the Java has been download, let's go and check with this. So let's connect it to one manage node and check whether the Java is installed or not to our manage node. Java, yes, it has been installed. Java hyphen version, yes, it has been installed. This is how the inventory file work to from the control node to the manage. So the next thing is Ansible manage node grouping. So grouping in Ansible allow you to categorize your manage nodes in the inventory file, making it easier to run commands and manage tasks on a specific set of servers. You define groups in your inventory and then use those groups in your Ansible commands to target specific hosts for automation. So in the inventory file, we have two servers. So think if we have thousands of servers and we have to run a particular application servers instead of running all the servers. So at the time you can group your servers like this. One is for application and another one is for database. So when I run the command ansible -i inventory.ini -m ping application. So this command the have written a wrong spelling. So it will ping to a particular application, or if you write only database, so it will ping to a database server. This is how the grouping things have work. So in Ansible, there are primarily two ways to provide instruction for managing a task on manage nodes. The first thing is Ansible playbook, and the next thing is advoc commands. There's Ansible playbooks. Ansible, it's a configuration management file that define the task and role necessary to automate the provisioning, configuration, and deployment of application and infrastructures. This uses the YAML syntax to describe the desired state of the system and steps required to achieve it. Playbooks consisting of one or more plays, and where each play specify a group of hosts and tasks to be executed on them. So how to create a playbook.yaml, and you need to create a one index.html file, and the Ansible playbook -i inventory.ini playbook is a command to run your playbook, and the um, right side have given a simple script to install Apache and copy a file to a particular destination. Let's go and check how it's work. So clear the skin and create a full file, new file. Give the name playbook.yaml. So let's write the script. Hyphen 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 hosts, all the hosts. So I'll explain the script after the script has been written. Name, install Apache, httpd, Ansible, .apt, name I'm giving Apache 2, state it should be present, update page should be S, and the next task is name, copy file with and permissions, Ansible dot built-in dot copy source. So in this source we will be creating one index.html file. We should copy that path to the where www html should be root, group should be root, and I'm giving the mode 0644. So this is the script I have written for the playbook. So the playbook is used for to install the Apache and copy a index.html file to the Apache web directly with the specific ownership and permission. So let's create a new file called index.html. So write the content whatever you want. So in source file I have written the index.html. So host all. So these specify that the task is in the playbook should be run on all the server listed in the inventory file. In the inventory file I have listed two servers, so become true. This gives the task root administrator permission to perform action the required evaluated privileges. Then the task I have mentioned to install Apache server name installed Apache HTTPD. This is a descriptive label for the task. Ansible.builtin.apt. This is the Ansible module used for managing package on Debian based systems like Ubuntu. So the next thing is name Apache. These specify the package name Apache 2, which is the Apache web server on the Ubuntu. State pressure ensure that the package is installed. If the Apache is already installed, this won't be reinstalled. Update cache is update the package cache before installing Apache, so Ansible gets latest version of the package. The next task is copy index.html to the web directory, and the copy file ownership is the descriptive label for the task. Ansible.builtin copy. This module copy file from the Ansible control node to the target server. So source index.html. This location of the source file on the control node, and the destination directory on the remote server where the index file will be placed, and the owner root and the group root ensure that the file is owned by the root user and the group on the server. And the mode 0644 sets the file permission. 064 give the read and write permission to the owner, and read only permission to the others. So this is the explanation of the script. So let's run the command. Ansible playbook -i inventory dot ini playbook dot yaml. So the Ansible playbook is the command used to execute an Ansible playbook, which is a YAML file which is defined a set of tasks for Ansible to perform and manage node. -i inventory specify the inventory file that contain list of servers. So playbook.yaml is the name playbook you want to execute. So it will gather all the servers. So it took few minutes. Let's wait. Yeah. So let's go and check whether these are installed or not. So sudo systemctl status apache 2. As the Apache is enabled and is actively running the Apache. So in the source we have given index.html, and the destination we have given the var www html. So give ls. So your index.html has been copied to the destination path. This is how the playbooks will work. So the next is advoc commands. It's a simple one-time task that can be run directly from the command line without needing to create a playbook. Without a playbook, we can just give a command itself. It will create those things. They are useful for quick tasks or when you need to run a single command on your manage node. Advanced commands are executed using the Ansible command followed by the option to specify the module and the target machine. Already we have used the advac command before itself. I also shown you Ansible -i inventory -m sudo update get a update all. This I'll show this how the advac commands are work. So the next is basics of YAML. So just understand the things, that's it, not in the depth one. So YAML will stands for YAML and markup language, is a human readable data serialization format used commonly used for configuration file and data file. I have already shown you how to write the YAML file. Just I'm giving the brief introduction, that's it. It's designed to simple, intuitive and easy to read and write even for non-programmer. YAML syntax is more natural and less complex than XML or JSON, make it popular in a various software application. But the YAML should check for the proper indentation. If you do not write in a proper indentation, it will throw an error. So key characteristics of YAML. The first thing is human readable. YAML clean and straightforward syntax make it easier for people to read and write. Data serialization. YAML represents data in a key value pair, list and nested structure make it ideal for configuration file. Uses indentation. Instead of bracket or tags, YAML relies on indentation to indicate nesting or hierarchy similar to the Python. Flexible structure. YAML supports scalar strings, integer, floats, boolean, allowing it represents complex data structure. This is all about the YAML. So the next topic is Ansible rules. So it's a way to group related tasks, variable templates, files and other resources, making them reusable and modular. Each role is like a package that define a specific functions or component of a system. For example, installing a Apache configuration MySQL and set up a firewall. Um, Ansible Galaxy role init HTTPD is used to create a role called HTTPD. Before moving to that command, let's understand what is Ansible Galaxy. So Ansible Galaxy is a command line tool that's a part of the Ansible design for managing Ansible tools. So it provides a way to create, share and install roles, make it easier to manage and reuse the automation. So the structure of Ansible rules. An Ansible role is organized in a specific directory structures. So it includes defaults, files, handlers, meta, tasks, templates, and vars. So default variables for the rules. A static file needed by the rule, handler triggered by the task, metadata about the rule, that is dependencies, versions, whatever they require. Task, main task to run on this rule. So templates, Jinja to templating for configuration file. I'll show you in the further topics what about the Jinja templates. Whereas other variable for the role higher priority than defaults. So let's create a role called Ansible Galaxy role init HTTPD. So this command is used to create a new Ansible role named HTTPD with a predefined folder structure. This command leverages Ansible Galaxy Ansible Package Manager to set up the role directory, making it easier to organize configuration files and tasks for that role. A role init specify way working with rules, and init initialize a new role with a specified name. And HTTPD, this is the name of the role. In this case, HTTPD could refer to a role for configuration and managing Apache HTTPD server. So let's enter this. So the role HTTPD has been created. So enter to the HTTPD. See, the default files, handler, meta, task, templates all are been created. So what I'm now doing is, So simply I'll just take from the task, copy this, go to httpd task main.yaml. So I'll enter the things here. So just remove this and give the proper indentation. Yes. After this, so go to your playbook. So just remove this one and give a rules httpd. And another thing is copy this HTML and paste it in file. So in the main.yaml, so just file HTML index.html. So now run that command Ansible playbook. So need to come out of the HTTP. So now give the command Ansible playbook.inventory. This will run, and this is how the role R works. It's work. So I'll show you one thing. So let's copy one IP address to Chrome, paste, access this. So it will show the content of your HTML file. It's shown the content of your HTML file. So just type Ansible Galaxy. So go to the first link, rules. So just search for Docker. So what you need to do is go to a bestmedding Docker and copy this path, go to VS. So these command installed a ready-made set of instruction for managing Docker created by someone called bestmedding Docker. Make it easier to set up Docker using Ansible. The thing what we need to do is, so let's create a new file called docker.yaml. So the thing you need to do is copy these things, paste the things, and ls tilde ansible rules. So this command checks what roles are already installed on your computer by presenting them from the folder where they are stored. So copy this one and paste here. So now you need to run this command. So let's wait few minutes. It will took time. So this is how the ready-made Docker installation has been work. So yes, it has been done. So let's go to the server and just type Docker. So yes, it has been download Docker version. So yes, the Docker has been installed from someone else role. So this is how the things have works. Let's create a new repository to pull the code from the central node to the GitHub repository. So I'm giving the name Ansible HTTPD role. Click on create repository. So go to VS Code, clear the screen, just type a git in it. This will initialize the things. The next thing you need to do is so copy this one. So git remote add origin, copy the path. So yes, git add dot git commit hyphen m initial commit. So now you need to do is you need to just push your code. So git push origin to main. So it's asking for password. So as let's go and check, refresh this page. So yes, the code has been pushed to the GitHub repository. So till now what we have learned is so this is the first diagram allow you to set up the Ansible control node to remotely manage multiple EC2 instance, each configured to run specific software, that is HTTPD or a Docker. Make it efficient to automate and control configuration across different servers. So the next diagram These setups show how Ansible can be used to automate the management of AWS resources directly through API calls rather than managing individual server. This approach is common in infrastructure as code practice where cloud resources are managed programmatically. These concept what we called as collections. So the next thing is Ansible collection. Ansible collections are a way to organize and distribute contents like roles, module, plugins, and playbooks in Ansible. They package related set of these components into a single distributed unit, make it easier to reuse and share automation code across different projects or teams. Collections are useful for keeping automation content organized, especially in a large project, and it can be downloaded from Ansible Galaxy or created and distributed privately. So, what are the key components of Ansible collections? Roles, modules, plugins, playbooks are the key components. Roles. It can be a predefined task grouped to achieve a particular groups, like installing softwares and things like that. Modules, reusable units of works, managing files, packages, plugins, extended Ansible functionality, custom lookup or inventory files, playbooks, YAML file that define a set of tasks to be Ansible executed, and to install AWS collection. Ansible Galaxy collection install amazon.aws. This will a command to install things. So the collection install, this is a subcommand tell Ansible to install a collection. Amazon.aws. This is the name of the collection to be installed. The Amazon AWS collection contain various module and plugins for to interacting with AWS service, allow you to automate tasks such as creating EC2 instance, managing S3 buckets, and more. So let's go to the Google and type for the Amazon Galaxy, Ansible Galaxy. I'll show where will we get this collection to install the Amazon.aws. So go to namespace, type for Amazon, to Amazon, go for the AWS. So copy this one. So it will, we have installed, just add force to the end of the command hyphen force. Function force the installation of the collection even if it is already installed or if there are any updates available. This can be useful in scenario where you want to ensure you have the latest version of the collection or if you want to reinstall it for any reasons. So this is how the collections installation works. So the next topic is Ansible Vault. So it's a feature that allow you to securely store your sensitive data such as passwords, API keys, and other secrets within your Ansible projects. It encrypts this sensitive piece of information to keep them safe, ensuring they are not exposed in a plain text within your plain books or configuration files. So how to set up this vault? So create a password for vault. For that, we have the command called OpenSSL random base 64 to 2048 temp vault.pass. What is this command means? OpenSSL ran. This is use the OpenSSL tool to generate a random string, random in the specific command for random number generation. Base 64. These options tell OpenSSL to encode the random data in a base 64 format, which makes the output easier to read and manage. And as base 64 uses a mix of alphanumeric character and a special symbols, so 2048 specify the number of random bits to generate. So here 2048 bits are generated which creates a long strong passwords, and temp vault.pass. This redirects the output to a file named called vault.pass in the temp directory. This command is often used to create a random password for encryption sensitive data with Ansible Vault. Instead of hard coding passwords, you can save these generated password in a secure file and use it with Ansible Vault command to encrypt or decrypt files. This approach keeps your sensitive data secure and separated from the main playbook. So let's go and run this command. So no, I'll explain this command also, then we go and run. Add your AWS credential using the below vault. So for that, Ansible Vault create group where all pass vault password file temp.vault. So Ansible Vault creates these part initiate the creation of a new encrypted file, which using Ansible Vault, the create option both creates and encrypt the specified file. Groups where all pass, these specify the file path and name of the new encrypted file located in the group where all directories. Typically group where is used to define variable that apply to all the host or groups in an Ansible inventory. In this case, it's likely hold sensitive data such as passwords or secrets. Hyphen vault. These option points to a file containing the vault password. Allow the command to run without promoting for a password interactively. These make it convenient to automate vault operations. So the overall these command help you to securely sensitive information for Ansible playbook by creating an encrypted YAML file that can contain variables such as passwords or API keys. Using the vault password file automation the process make it easier to integrate into a large automation workflow without manually creating the password each time. So let's go and run this to command in VS Code. So by this command create vault, so I have already created, so it's showing instead of create do edit. So like this it will open a terminal. So here you need to specify your AWS account access key and a secret key. Go to security credential. So let's delete one. Create access key. So it will generate access key and a secret key. Copy this one and to access key. The next thing is EC2 secret key. For the security purpose, I'll pause the video for a second and go back and come copy of my secret key. So yes, I have well stored my access key and a secret key. So let's update the thing first. So you need to install a Boto here. So for that pip install Boto 3. So in my system this command will won't work. So if you want to install Boto 3, please use this command. If in case you also getting the same error, so I'll give the command now. That command you need to execute there. So I'm giving this command pip install Boto 3 hyphen hyphen break system packages. So this will install me a Boto 3. clear the screen. So let's create a folder called EC2 creation. So let's go enter it, cls cd. So here I am creating a role called EC2 Ansible Galaxy role init EC2. So it will create a role. So here I am creating a new file called EC2 create.yaml. Host should be localhost, and then the connection should be local, and the roles EC2. So go to task in the main.yaml, write a script. So hyphen name, start an EC2 instance with a public IP address. I'll explain this script once. uh, So the next thing is amazon.aws ec2 underscore instance name Ansible instances instance type t3.micro security group default region. So guys, at the starting I'll in the rule I told about a template. In that I have specified the Jinja templating, the double quote, double braces. This is the Jinja templating. Here I am writing EC2. In the vault we have specified the EC2 access key. For this purpose we will be store the access key and a secret key there. So the next thing is network, assign public IP should be true, and the next thing is image ID. So for this, type AMI so just copy the name, paste here. So this is the script to create a EC2 instance. So yes, so the line indicates the beginning of a YAML document. The name start. This is the human readable name of the task. It describes what the task does, which is the start an EC2 instance with the public IP address, and the Amazon AWS EC2 instance. Specify the Ansible module used for creating an EC2 instance. It requires the Amazon.aws collection name. So this sets the name of the EC2 instance being created. In this case, it's name for Ansible instance. The next thing is instance type t3.micro. These specify a type of EC2 instance to create. In this case, it is a 3t.micro, which is a lightweighted instance suitable for low traffic application, and it's a free eligible to everyone. Security groups should be default. These specify the security group to associated with the instance. Here it is using the default security group, which typically allow basic traffics based on its rule. And the region I'm specifying to the AU North 1. And the access key and the secret key, these are the AWS credential used to authenticate the API request. The values are retrieved from a vault, ensuring that they are not hard coded in the playbook. And the network is a network section. These lines ensure that EC2 instance will be assigned a public IP address, make it access from the internet, and the image ID should be specified, determine the operating system initial the configuration of. So overall, this Ansible task is designed to create a new EC2 instance in a AWS with specified parameter include a public IP address, security groups, instance types. It uses a Ansible Amazon AWS.EC2 instance module, which allow you to automate of cloud resource management. So let's run the command to run this playbook. Ansible playbook hyphen. So this is the command Ansible playbook EC2 create YAML vault password. Let's see whether it's created or not. So let's see whether it has a syntax problem. So I did some indentation errors. It's what's showing. So indentation syntax error. So it has been created. So let's go and check whether the Ansible is created or not. so as the Ansible instance is created. So this is how the wallet vaults, Ansible vaults will work. So the next concept is Ansible variables. So Ansible variables allow you to customize and control the configuration and behavior of the playbooks, make it easier to manage and scale automation tasks across different environments. Variables can be used to store a wide range of values like paths, credentials, options, IP addresses, and more. So we have here types of variables. The first thing is inventory variable, defined in the inventory file, typically associated with the host or groups to set specific value for different servers. These can be useful for differentiating configuration between services. So the next thing is playbook variable. Defined within playbooks themselves, these variables are set for the duration of the playbook and run are commonly used to control how tasks are executed. Host and groups variables located in files like host vars and group vars directories. These variables apply to individual host or group of hosts. These organizations allow you to store environment specific values separately, keeping playbook clean and generic. Role variables specific to Ansible role. These variables are defined within a directories and control role behavior. So registered variables created during the execution of the task to store the results or output of the task. These are dynamic to specify the playbooks to run. Yeah, I have already shown this command. So the next thing is variable precedence. With when multiple variables with the same name exist, Ansible follow a hierarchy to determine which one to use. Generally, command line -e variables have the highest priority, followed by the playbook variable, role variable, and then inventory or default variable. If we have specified -e type t3.micro, it will take this as precedence and run the command. Let's go and check how the precedence and variables are works. I'll show you. So first thing, go to here and terminate the thing. So go to VS Code. So in instance type, just use Jinja templating type dot item and go to default in main. Just specify type t3 dot micro and now run the command. So in instance type, just give the type, don't add dot item. So if you add that, it will show an error. So let's go and check if the instance is created or not. Yes, it has been created. This is how the variables are work. You can specify your variable in default one, or else you can specify the things in variable also, t3 dot micro like this, or else if you just run the command, just add -e type equals t3 dot micro. So it will check all, and if you add this in the command, so it will take this as highest priority and created the things. So this is how the vault variables and precisions are work in Ansible. Let's terminate this. So the next concept is Ansible loops. Ansible loops allow you to repeat tasks multiple times with different values, making automation more efficient by avoiding repetitive code. Loops can be iterate over list directories or even complex data structure, and they can be customized with conditional index and nested loops. So this is how the loops looks like. Uh, Further, I'll show how the loops will work. So the next is Ansible conditional. Ansible conditional allow you to make the execution of the task based on specific conditions, which adds flexibilities and enable dynamic behavior within the playbooks. Conditions are typically used with when keywords to determine whether tasks should be run based on variables, values, command outputs, facts, or custom condition. So this is a sample script for the when condition. Host all become true task, a shutdown Ubuntu instance only. So when Ansible facts should be read at. If in case if you have read at, should terminate the instance. So let's create a simple project. So let's see what are the requirements we have. So the first task is we need to create a 3 EC2 instance on AWS using Ansible loops, two instances with Ubuntu distribution and one instance with the Linux distribution. So the int they said use connection should be local on the control node, and the task 2 is set up passwordless authentication between control node and a newly created instances, and the task 3 is automate the shutdown of the Ubuntu instance only when use Ansible conditions for that. They have given int also use when condition on Ansible gather files. So let's go and create this in VS Code. So let's clear this. So let's create a folder called project. Get into the project folder. So let's create a file called ec2 creation.yaml. So I just copy the code before we have written right in the task. So I'm copying this code. For this also I just so here only I modified for the code. So the first we need to create is we need to create a user for access. We need access key and secret key, right? So for that create Ansible user, click on next, attach policies directly. Here I'm taking EC2 full access, so attach the policies and click on next. So create user. So go inside the Ansible user. So go to security credential. So click on create command line interface. So it will give the access key and a secret key. So let's go and store this one first. Just this, run this command. So this will open thing. So here just add your. So for the security purpose, I'll pause the video for a second to add the security key. So yes, the first thing has been done. So let's modify this content first. So this Ansible playbook that creates a multiple EC2 instance on AWS. So host specify localhost, meaning the task will be executed on the local machine, not on the remote host. Connection set to a local, indicating that task run on the local machine, typically for managing cloud resources like AWS. Name task creating an EC2 instance. Assign a name to each instance using the value from the so the next thing, the Amazon aws.ec2 instance module is used to create manage ec2 instance on node. So the next thing is name. So assign a name to each instance using the value from the. So here just add Jinja templating with item dot name. So the next thing is key name GTS. So whichever the existing key pair you are available, so give the name for this. And the next thing is the instance is T3 micro and the security group as default. I'm setting the region to EU North 1, and this is the AWS credential to secure my data, and network the IP addresses should be true. And here I'm giving image ID as item dot image. So the next thing is I'm adding tags, environment, Jinja templating, item dot name, loop. So the tags add a tag name environment, assigning it the value from item name for easier identification. For user identification, we do this. So in this, what we have to do is image name. So go to instance, let's create launch instance. So here we have Amazon ID, copy this, paste here, and give the name as one. So they said they have need one Linux administration and two Ubuntu administration. So copy the AMI ID, paste here. So here it will come to name and check for the item dot name. If in case true, it go to key pair and check for the instance group and AWS secret key assign and come to image ID and it will create this things. So let's run the command ec2 creation dot yaml. So these Ansible playbook EC2 creation.yaml run the playbook which contain instruction for provisioning EC2 instance and the vault password file temp vault. So these option points to a file containing the password to unlock Ansible vault. Ansible vault is used to securely store sensitive data like AWS credential in the playbook. The vault.pass file in this case is expected to contain the password to decrypt any encryption variable in the playbook. This way, Ansible can retrieve AWS credentials securely without exposing them in a plain text, and that the temp vault.pass is secured properly since it contains sensitive information. Let's enter. So let's check. It's saying item is undefined. So yes, it is creating. I have just missed the double quotes here. So let's go and check whether the instances is created or not. So yes, it has been created. See, this two is already startly I have running this one. So now just these three as created. This is how the um, first step is done. So the second task is we need to create a passwordless authentication for all those things. One inventory file for passwordless authentication file invent.ini. copy the IP addresses. First one we have created that Amazon Linux. So give the name EC2 user. Other two is Ubuntu. Next thing also Ubuntu. Let's copy this IP address. So after the inventory file, what we need to do is we need to set a passwordless authentication. So let's go and do that one. So sudo ssh-o identity file and the pem file path and ec2 user at the rate IP address. So it has been with the pem key, it has been created. So let's connect the instance without the pem key. Eval. Guys, this is the optional thing because without this command my system won't work. So that's why I'm using this one. It will generate ID. It has been added. So SSH with whether the PEM key also connected without the PEM key without the PEM key also it will connected to the Amazon Linux distribution instances. So exit this. So the next thing is like this we need to create for this also. Yes, it's connected. So the next thing is SSH. It's connected. So the last thing is so lastly connect with without the PEM key. So as the task 2 also done, that is passwordless authentication also done. So the last thing is we need to shut down the Ubuntu instance only. So let's go and create. So click on new file. So ec2 stop dot yaml. So let's write a command for this. So as this is a script, host should be all. Here I have mentioned all and become true. Task name shut down Ubuntu instance only. Ansible built-in command has been shut down a terminal now itself. When Ansible facts OS family should be Debian. So Ansible playbook easy to start.yaml vault password file temp.vault. So let's enter this. So let's see, it's showing skipping no host matches. As the command has been worked, I think I had done with the um, indentation error. So let's go and check whether the instances are terminated or not. See, the Ubuntu instance has been terminating, that is shutdowning. So this is how the simple projects work. The first we have created the instances, and the next thing we have set the passwordless authentication, then we have shut down the things. This is all about the project will work. Yeah. So the next concept is Ansible error handling. How we can handle the errors in Ansible. So it's a set of technique for managing errors and defining actions to take when something goes wrong. Error handling is important to ensure that Ansible playbooks run smoothly and complete all the tasks successfully. So if we have mentioned ignore error is used to handle the error in Ansible. So the ignore error directive in Ansible lets you indicates that the task can fail without causing the playbook to stop. This is helpful for non-critical tasks that may encounter issues but should be not interrupt overall the execution of the playbook. So for example, if you have right to create, for example, firstly we have mentioned something called create EC2 instance, and then next create IMI user, then next create VPC. While creating the EC2 instance, if we got any troubles, if we mention ignore errors, it will ignore the EC2 instance part and jump to the IAMA role. So that's how the error handling will work. I'll show you how to configure those things. So how ignores error work? When a task is set with the ignore error true, Ansible will log any error that occurs, but instead of halting execution, it will process to the next task in the playbook. That's what I have set the example. This is especially useful in a situation where you might not need all the tasks to complete it successfully for overall playbook to be useful. So what are the syntax? The syntax is straightforward. Simply add ignore true to the task you want to ignore. So see, this is the syntax. Ignore errors should be S. If you set S, it will jump to the next part. So let's go and see how to do this. So let's create a folder called error handling, and create one file, new file, main.yaml. So this is the script. So these Ansible playbook ensure that the both OpenSSH and OpenSSL package are up to date on the all target host, and verify if the Docker is installed. If the Docker is not found, it will process to install it. So I'll show you. So host all. Here I have mentioned all. Run on all target hosts defined in the Ansible inventory. Have created Ansible inventory. So let's say all. Become true. Use privilege escalation to run task on super user necessary for the package management. The next thing is So here make sure the package OpenSSH and OpenSSL are up to date. Use the Ansible built-in .apt module to ensure both OpenSSH and OpenSSL are up to date. So the next thing is have mentioned the state is the state should be latest. If in case any cache are there, so update that one. So I have set the loop. Install each package with state latest, ensuring they updated to the latest version. Update caches, refresh the package list before installing or upgrading. So the next thing I have mentioned is verify if Docker is installed. Ansible built-in command run docker hyphen version to check if the Docker is installed. Register output saves the output of the command to the output variable. So I'll show you whether it's a run or not, or it show any error. For this one, write a command playbook hyphen inventory.ini and the main.yaml file. Handling. So I have not set passwordless authentication. Just a second. It's gathered all the facts. So failed. Item OpenSSH. So we got error, right? Mention errors should be S. So let's go and run this one. It's showing ignoring. Right? Docker as installed. So because previous only I have installed the Docker for the TC2. No, have not. Yes, I have installed. So that's why it's showing. So if you mention ignores error as for this also, say see again, it will up to date. If the OpenSSL and SSH is up to date, no, it's ignoring that part. Ignoring. This is how the error handling will work. I have added another part to install Docker. What that it means, Ansible built-in.apt install Docker with the package name docker.io. State present, ensure Docker is installed with upgrading if already present. And when output is failed, run this task only if the previous Docker version command failed, indicating Docker is not currently installed. So let's run again the command. So this is how the error handling is work in Ansible. That's all about Ansible tool. Thank you.